Today I'm going to be discussing the operation, cleaning, and maintenance of the Cinelli volumetric bread divider. Before starting the machine, a good practice is to look inside the hopper to make sure no foreign objects have fallen in or nobody has thrown anything inside by accident, which could cause a catastrophic failure in the machine. Once you have checked inside the hopper, you're ready to throw the dough in and begin using the machine. There are three basic adjustments on the machine. The first one is the machine speed, which controls the electrical drives. Once you have checked inside the hopper, you're ready to throw the dough in and begin using the machine. There are three basic adjustments on the machine. The first one is the machine speed, which controls the electrical drives. In a scale of 0 to 100. The second is the size adjustment handle, which controls the pistons that output the dough. And are indicated with a numerical scale, which can be visible through this window from 1 to 10. The final adjustment is located behind this front cover and controls the amount of dough intake volume into the main piston. We have a numerical scale from 1 to 7. 1 being for the smallest pieces, 7 being for the largest. The idea of the dough intake volume adjustment is to try to suck in just a little bit more dough than you're outputting to get nice consistent weights. If you suck in too much dough into the intake piston and try to cram it into a small output piston, the machine can overload and go into a fault mode to protect itself. Or it can break a safety shear pin located in the bottom of the machine, which we're going to talk about later. This particular machine is equipped with the split piston feature. You remove the rear cover of the machine. Now we have full view of the rear piston. The purpose of the split piston is to be able to do one single large piece or two smaller individual pieces out of the same chamber. The way that you control that is you have a small spring-loaded tab here, comes up in the air, and there's a pin. When the pin is engaged in the back side, the piston goes back and forth as a single unit. When this pin is put in the forward position, it engages into this casting and it keeps the center section stationary, thus giving you two pieces. I'll show you again up close. Pull the tab up, rotate it, drop it in the front hole. Now it's a split piston. Raise the tab, rotate it to the rear hole. Now it's a stationary single piston. Now we're observing the machine operating on a single piston. And now we observe it operating on split piston, cutting two pieces at once. This machine operates with the use of mineral oil, which is stored in a container. Here, there's a low level alarm on it. When it gets to within 4 inches of the bottom of the tank, you'll hear an audible buzz, and you fill it through this hole. The purpose of the oil is that it gets pumped around all the pistons and moving parts of the machine to lubricate and provide adequate suction. On top of the machine, we have a mechanical counter. Every time the chamber travels up and down, it indicates a number. Now I'm going to give you a brief explanation on the daily cleaning of the Sinelli volumetric bread divider. Begin by removing both top covers. Next, we'll be removing the 6 main bolts of the chamber. 2 located at the back top. And 2 holding the chamber down. On either side. You require a 3/4 wrench or a 19mm wrench for these bolts. Once all 6 bolts are removed, we want to swing open the hopper. It's hinged on this side. We're going to start by removing the knife, bringing it to a safe location, a nice table. Begin by removing the knob with a knife pusher. Loosen the knob, pull the pin back. This pin goes into a hole and pushes the main piston. Carefully remove the main piston and put it down on a table with some paper. Once we have all the piston and the knife removed, we want to clean any debris from these areas using a non-metallic scraper and a cloth soaked in mineral oil. Pull out all the debris. We'll begin by removing this black knob. Pull the pin. The arm moves out of the way. Now we have the back piston here. We're going to pull on the top of it. Being careful not to drop it. Okay, and we're going to take it over to the table. We also want to make sure we get this back chamber where the small piston came out of nice and clean. We want to use non-abrasive, non-metallic scrapers. Clean any dough debris or buildup. Once we have all the pieces removed in a safe location, we can begin by cleaning any debris off them. Make sure the holes here are opened up so that oil can flow through to the bottom of the knife. Next we move on to the main piston. Clean all these passageways. Pull out the center of the piston. Move that up. Pull out any debris with your hands. Once you're done cleaning all of the rough debris, you can take a wet, oily rag and just wipe everything off nicely. Once we have everything covered in oil, we spray some oil into the chambers and we can start reassembling everything. Make sure you hold it nice and square. Once you have the piston pushed in, put the arm back down, put the pin back in. You can give it a tap with a dead blow hammer, a hard plastic hammer, or a piece of wood. Put the lock back in place and put the knob back in. Once we have the back done, we go to the front. Make sure you spray a good amount of mineral oil inside the chamber. Slide the pin back into the hole. Lock the knob. Make sure the piston is flush in the chamber. Down. Once we have the piston in, we're going to spray it down with a little bit more mineral oil. And we're going to proceed to install the knife. Start by installing the knife pusher. It's got a slot it slips into. Reinstall the knob. Just hand tight. The knife, put it down on top. Very important point is that the knife pusher is inside of this brass. Once the knife is in that position, you're ready to start closing the chamber. Now we're ready to close the machine. We're going to spray some more oil down on top of the knife. Close the chamber, and we're going to install all 6 bolts. Just going to start them all by hand first. Once we have them started all by hand, very important, we're going to take the wrench, and we're going to go start at the back, and we're going to go very slowly around the whole chamber, snugging them bit by bit to get even torque around all 6 bolts. So now I've brought the bolts in snug but not tight. So now I'm going to start tightening. Begin with your back one. I'm not using a lot of force. Okay. Now I've got all 6 fairly tight, and now I'm going to give them one more pull each. You want to ensure you get a nice tight seal here, or else the machine will suck in air and it won't give you consistent weights. If you're using a torque wrench on these bolts, you're looking for about 25 foot-pounds of torque. Now that we have the machine all together, we would just want to do a visual inspection, make sure all of the oil lines are secure, none of them have come dislodged, no debris are accumulated on top, and now we're ready to reinstall the covers. Lift them on an angle, and there's a couple of pins that they just sit into on the edges. The last thing to do in the cleaning process is to come around the back here, remove the debris tray, dump it out, wipe it out, and reinstall it. Once it's clean, we're just going to slide it back in, lift, and it locks itself in. Finally, on the machine, we're going to discuss a little bit about the maintenance. When performing maintenance on the machine, remove all 4 panels from the 4 sides. On the bottom of the arms here we have grease nipples. These grease nipples should be pumped with grease every 100 hours or approximately 1.5 to 2 weeks of normal use. There are 3 at the bottom at the back of the machine, 1 at the top underneath the back piston. On the front of the machine we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 or 3 pumps of grease every 100 hours should be adequate. On the sides of the machine we have bearings, which also have grease nipples. 1 there and 1 behind the sprocket. Those require a couple of pumps of grease every 3 to 4 months. While we have the machine open, we want to do a visual inspection on the drive belt, check for cracking. We want to do a visual inspection on all the chains, check the chain tension, spray some open chain lubricant on all the chains every 2 weeks, and remove any dough debris that has fallen underneath the bottom of the machine. Inside the machine here we have 2 screws which control the belt tracking and tension for the drop conveyor. You want to keep an adequate amount of tension on this belt so that it doesn't slip, but not too much to put stress on the lacing.